Hey, everybody. Welcome to our Friday discussion with Empowering Mountain Food Systems. I'm so happy to welcome Aimee Tomcho here from the ForestHer program. We live in an abundant forestry area here in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park area. And we are very interested to talk to Aimee to find out about her program and find out how in the future we can work with her, and we hope to have some programming out here in the year coming up. So with that said, Aimee, welcome. Thanks for joining us for our Friday series.
Well, thanks, Laura, so much for having me today.
Great. So can you start a little bit by just telling us how ForestHer came to be? Why was this organization and this effort needed?
It's really a beautiful story. There were set of us women working in the forestry and wildlife field in North Carolina, and a lot of our work focused with private landowners. And we saw that there was this need to reach out to female landowners in particular. And so we kind of formed a committee and we went to work. And you know, our vision was really just a healthy and sustainable forest ecosystem in the state, and farming ecosystem too. And because that's what we were working for in our career. And we just found that the response by women was overwhelming. And so the organization, we saw that it was needed, but the work itself has really shown that that is true.
So what are some of the special issues that women are bringing to your classes?
You know, ForestHer, I'll just start by saying our demographic that we reach is very wide-ranging, and it's not just women and people who identify as women, but we have all sorts of, we have men, we have people of color, we have people who just haven't grown up with that knowledge of farming, forestry, bird watching, that sort of thing. And, you know, so what they bring to the class is a wide range of needs. And, you know, some of them are young and they're just starting out and they want to know how to start. Some of them have inherited land and they want to do right by it. And they want to know, what does that mean? What does good stewardship mean? Where do I start? Who do I talk to? And then there's other women, you know, and one of the things about this effort is how much we're able to talk with each other and we really learn each other's stories. But there was one woman who was in her, you know, mid-60s, and she said, back when I did this career assessment, when I was young, it came back that I should be a forester. There was no one that looked like me in that line of work 50 years ago. And so now she's getting into it by, you know, attending ForestHer classes and becoming a part of the community. So they bring, you know, it's everything from just real technical information about wildlife, questions that they have, and then really, how do I make this work? You know, where do I start? And so that's what we're trying to do with this foundational series. This ForestHer North Carolina series is how we've started. It's a set of classes that really just lays that foundational knowledge. And so it's the kind of the old adage, you know, the more you know, the more you don't know, right? The more you can formulate those questions that lead you to your objectives. So that's really what we're really cultivating to begin with.
Mm-hmm. So when I think about forest management, you know, we might think about how folks, you know, manage their stand for future harvest. They might be managing it for conservation. And we recently had a session on how to manage your forest for income. You know, if I want to grow mushrooms or I want to grow herbs, do y'all cover that about the different ways that the forest serves as income generating?
Oh, absolutely. You know, that's just I think it's imperative. I think that's part of what we hit with this community is not only is this land an asset to you, but it takes maintenance and money. And how are you going to do that? Revenue is one way to do it. There's different ways to generate revenue from timber by being mindful of landscape stewardship. That's the kind of science we bring. There's non-timber forest products, like you mentioned. We have, eventually coming up in our series, talking about other forms of income, the aesthetic forestry part of things. We started off our series talking about tax programs and how certain acreages mean abatement in taxes and different things like that. So we do get down into the nitty gritty, but we present that information in a way that's hopefully not intimidating, because there's a lot of information out there. And but yes, as you said, knowing how to maintain that land is very important, and money is a part of that.
So I know that you work for Audubon and that there are other organizations that make up ForestHer. Can you talk about some of your partner organizations?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and some people, I'll start by saying, some people wonder how Audubon got involved in this, and it's very, I love putting it this way. Support bird conservation in the state. We need a diverse layer of habitats across the state. Forests are one of those, and a diverse forest is a healthy forest. And it's the same way I look at this community of women. The more perspectives we bring, the stronger we are. And so the partnerships and all our different organizations bring strength of their own. So in addition to Audubon, we have North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission. We have USDA Wildlife Services. We have the Sustainable Family Forest Initiative, North Carolina Tree Farm Association. We have North Carolina Cooperative Extension, of course. And I know I'm getting, of course, North Carolina Forest Service. Is that 8? You put me on the spot there.
Sorry about that. We'll make sure that everybody gets the link to what's happening. So that's,
yes, of course.
That's wonderful. So one of the things that we want to explore is offering your series out here in Southwestern North Carolina. So can you talk a little bit about, what is the series? If we're going to ask people to sign up for this, what can they expect, especially in relation to there's classroom and is there time in the field?
Yes. Well, I think that I see the way that this happens in Western North Carolina might unfold a little bit differently than it has this far. But I will start by saying the first thing that we sought to do was to lay a foundation with this workshop series. We do hope to be able to replicate that in different parts of the state. So far, we've worked in the three major regions, the coastal plain, the Piedmont, and the mountains. But we do understand that still means that, it can be a couple-hour drive to get to wherever we meet. It has been classroom exercises so far because we really just wanted to kind of give that booklet of reference, right, to formulate those questions that you may have. But ultimately, I see this community being a community who gathers in small pods in a sub-region, right, like Southwestern North Carolina, to really get out and help each other with their land and their projects. And again, to bring those perspectives. And so while we do hope to replicate this workshop series, right now we're right in the middle of the initial series, which was 6 workshops. And in the middle of that, we had to go virtual. So as we finish that up, we will have a set of virtual resources that
Mm-hmm.
we look towards, and hopefully just enter into that phase 2 where we start to really form those communities and get that work on the ground, and empower each other and motivate each other to be good stewards of our land. A couple of different ways that I hope to see it unfold. I have to mention here one of my favorite birds, farming and forestry, and I think it would fit right into an initiative in Southwest North Carolina, and that is the golden wing warbler, who he likes to live on the edge of the farm and the field, and its population has declined by 98%.
Oh my.
So I envision the community, a small community of women, an aggregate, of land ownership, has that kind of goal tied into their own personal objective. And that really empowers them to feel good about the bigger picture too, and to really see that landscape level perspective and know that what they're doing is really important on a number of levels.
Yeah, I really love that vision. And that's something we do want to duplicate out here as well, is those cohorts of people learning together and sharing the journey and sharing resources. And so that really mirrors the vision that we have too. So in the past, when you could, have more activities in the field, how did that fit into your programming?
Well, we said, I think one of the things that makes us different, now we're not the only women-focused forestry program in the nation. There's a whole network of owning woodlands you can look up. Wow. We're just one subset in North Carolina. But I think one of the things that has made our program so successful, and it is a fledgling program, we've really just kind of started here, but is that we're not flooding everyone with information. We're really being very intentional about how much of what type of information we're providing, so as not to overwhelm. Because I don't know me, but I get this too much information feeling, and I just want to, cover my eyes and run. We don't want to do that. So far, it's just been the foundational series. Now, we have sponsored a really fun field workshop, and that was chainsaw training for women, how to use the chainsaw safely. And we actually went out and, learned the parts of a chainsaw, learned how to start it, learned, how to handle it without intimidation, or at least starting, practice makes perfect. Right. But, we envision those kind of things into the future. Like I said, we're just getting started. And quite frankly, we're just amazed at the response we've gotten. The first 6 workshops we had sold out. We ran out of capacity space in the facility that we were renting in the different parts of the state. And then since we've gone virtual, we've had 250 women plus register for each of our webinars. So we had no idea that we'd have that sort of response. So we're all just kind of going, what are we going to do with this? Like, what is our next steps? And so talking to organizations like you really help guide in that vision. And it's very exciting. It's a good problem to have, right? It really is.
So how do you get the word out? Do you use those partners that you mentioned earlier to recruit people? So I know that you're working with Cooperative Extension in Chatham County. So what's your outreach so that folks know about what you're doing?
Well, each of our 8 organizations, and landowner word of mouth. But honestly, we never, it's just quite amazing. We never put out any marketing or advertisement. It was so needed. The response was very organic. I think it's just continued to grow by word of mouth, both within the professional organizations and the landowners that have attended. you know, I think maybe we got the easy way out with that. We never had to do much promotion.
Well, it just demonstrates that there's really a need and an interest.
I will say we've had to be creative since COVID times. And so we've ramped up our virtual platforms. We do have a Facebook page now. We have Instagram, and we have a YouTube that we're housing some of that virtual information. We're working frantically on trying to get a website up to just kind of be a hub. And I would say just right now, before I forget, ForestHer NC at gmail.com, and you're on our list. And so and then you'll get all the information that comes around as, you know, as we know it. So ramping that up a little bit just because of sheer need.
So is it ForestHerNC.com?
At gmail.com.
ForestHer NC.
That's the email address. We're working on, the website would be .org.
Right. Great. Well, I put that in the chat, so I hope folks will reach out to you. So do you want to give us that screenshot to where we can see kind of what's happening in your workshops, and you can describe for us a little bit what's happening there. And folks, if you have questions, please feel free to type them into the chat. There's not that many of us here. If you want to raise your hand, I can call on you and we can have a live conversation.
Let's see. For some reason, it is not coming up. Hang on a second. I think I need to close.
Oh, hey, Rachel.
Hi, Laura. How are you doing?
All right, go for it.
Good. Hi, Amy. It's so great to hear you speak today. I was really looking forward to this. I'm from Mainspring Conservation Trust, and I'm really interested in talking with you to figure out ways that we could partner or work together, because I'm also working to increase our presence in southwestern North Carolina.
Hey, great. Yes, well, let's please talk. You can reach me indirectly at that email address that Laura put up, or you can find me online. I think I have a lot of vision for Western North Carolina and Mainspring. We've been in conversation with some of your guys about the golden wing work that we're doing. And then we also do have forest interior bird work. And, that can help guide me as far as partnerships, and then really searching out for those partners with ForestHer to kind of tie them into your trust and do work, as a big partnership. So, okay, let me try to share this again. I don't know why it's not coming up as an option. Is there maybe?
Oh, and your screen share on the bottom, it's not coming up as an option for you?
Oh.
So Lauren, can you share the PDF? Yeah, Lauren's going to share it for us, Amy.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank you, Lauren. Technological issues. Yay. Okay, great. Well, and so I just wanted to put this up. It's so hard to envision what the environment looks like. And like I mentioned, we have been almost exclusively inside so far, learning and bonding. But it's to be in the room together with all these people is really something special. There's a certain way that communication takes place. There's a lot of storytelling that happens. We facilitate that. The picture on the upper right hand side was taken at a Kinston, North Carolina workshop. And we had started an interactive lesson about land ethic. And we had some quotes up by Aldo Leopold and Rachel Carson and some of those others. And we said, go stand in front of the quote that speaks to you the most and talk to the women that are standing there with you. And these two women had never met each other, but really bonded over whatever their quote was. And we asked them if anybody was willing to share. And they literally grabbed each other's hand and ran to the front of the room because they wanted to share their story with the group. I can't say that I have ever seen that in another forestry workshop. And I don't know if anybody can. And that's the kind of environment that we're really fostering. And I think with these new perspectives, we have the chance to change the way that conservation is done. We're definitely digging into the science, but to bring those new perspectives and share those stories can only make it stronger. It's just like, the diverse forest is a healthy forest. It's a resilient forest. So, and then down at the bottom center, there's a picture of the chainsaw workshop we sponsored with some of the extension folks out near Raleigh. One of the things that we do when we meet in person is have a natural resources panel come up, and that's the bottom left picture. One of the things that we also want to do is support the female resources professionals that have already, been working, like Rachel, that have been working in this field and know, they've kind of trudged through those classrooms where, things might not, people might not be as approachable. So we always have the female resources that are in the region that the women are attending these workshops come forth so they can be, they can talk to them, they can meet them, they know who to talk to, that's comfortable to reach out and, ask that question that somebody may think is crazy, but we won't. And then, just that top left picture, I'll end with that as one of my favorites. That was the mountain workshop here that we had in Marion, North Carolina. And I looked at these women with smiles on their faces and I said, who's ready to be a ForestHer? And they all just raised their hands. That's the kind of environment, that's the kind of passion that's really going to make a difference, I think, in the land.
So this is really inspiring. And one of the things that I appreciate about this is when you mention the information overload, and I look at your ForestHer resource panel there, and we face this in agriculture. Is what can the NRCS do for me? What can FSA do for me? What can the National Organic Program do for me? And folks really don't know, but when they get in a room and they start talking to people and say, oh, well, I applied for this ag options grant and I received it and oh, I'm eligible for that, that kind of thing. And so we can all look at a screen and be inundated with information. But when our neighbor tells us, that they've benefited from something, it makes us feel like it's doable. So that's something that we would like to try to do with this project.
Oh, absolutely. And, there are resources, financial resources out there that aren't getting tapped into, like who you had on last month, there's money out there. It is intimidating. And sometimes you need that guidance. Sometimes you need the go get them, somebody just motivating you. Sometimes you need the technical connection. Those are all the pieces we want to provide for whatever way you communicate best and you learn best.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. Well, thank you, Aimee. I'm not sure, Lauren, do we have any questions in the Facebook chat or the or our chat here? We're coming up at our end time. I will say that we are going to be working with Aimee and the team, and it looks like with Mainspring, and we can collaborate and see how we can bring this to Southwestern North Carolina in 2021. So I think it helps us to end the year on such a positive note of knowing that this is a great resource. So thank you all, Aimee, and thanks to your team for putting the ForestHer program together. And I'm thrilled you're having such a great response. One of the things I wanted to ask to wrap up is, do you have like an inspiring story of somebody who's come to your series that has done something that you think really stands out?
Oh, there are a lot already, even though we're such a fledgling organization. But one of them I will share is just briefly is exactly what we were hoping. A woman came, she had inherited land. She wanted to do right by that. It was her family land. What could she do? And she just happened to be a major go-getter, and she took all the stuff that we talked about and she just started going right away. And not only that, she met a woman at ForestHer workshop that she didn't previously know. And they've been communicating back and forth about the management. It's almost like, hey, guess what I did? And then, oh, wow, you really did that already. You know, just kind of that value in communication and empowerment. And so that's already happening. That, you know, just resources being put into action and community being built. And that's what we're looking for.
Right. And so do you foresee kind of like a network of like a listserv, or you can have a Facebook group, obviously. So is that kind of happening on your Facebook yet, where people are sharing their stories?
Yeah, so we're encouraging that. So we have an email list that's got almost 1,000 people on it already.
Wow.
It's the state and even beyond borders. And we have a Facebook page. And then we also have a Facebook group. So that's, you know, more of a closed setting where you can share more personal things, right? And say, hey, I live, you know, in Cherokee, and I would like to, you know, anybody else near me? Can we meet on my land with masks on or whatever? And you give me your ideas. And so we're working on cultivating that. And yes, ultimately, that's my vision, is to have, and then continuously create a demand of topics. You know, we ask every single workshop, what do you want to know more about? The list. And, you know, eventually we're going to get to all of those things. Again, working on not having information overload, but really listening to what the needs are, and then being able to bring the professionals to present that information in a way that resonates best, it's most effective in setting objectives.
Great. Well, thank you. I look forward to helping start those stories out here and get folks some support. Lauren has a poll we want y'all to take. Please don't leave without taking our poll, and then click the evaluation link. But you can go ahead and fill out the poll. That would be really helpful. We do have a listserv, and that's the way we get information out about our chats. So please do that. I will say, with these colder temperatures and longer days, we're going to shift this series into Thursday evenings. So folks are inside, it's cold, it's dark, and so stay tuned. We're going to have 2 in January. We're going to look at how folks are using SNAP EBT and double up bucks to increase sales at farmers markets. And we've got other topics coming up that we're really excited about. So stay tuned. But thanks again, Aimee. I think I can confidently say that we look forward to seeing you again. And I hope everybody will join me in thanking you for your time today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And please don't hesitate to reach out, anybody on the line, to Laura or myself. And I look forward to working with everyone.
Great. Fantastic. Okay. Thanks for the support, Lauren. And I look forward to keeping in touch with everybody. Everybody stay safe. Bye-bye.